Hi, I'm Erin Morgenstern, author of The Night Circus. My new novel, The Starless Sea, goes on sale this November. The Night Circus started as part of a National Novel Writing Month, which is a online-based competition to write 50,000 words in 30 days. It's usually held in November. And I'd done it for several years, just kind of writing for myself, and I never really planned for it. And I was writing one November, and I got really bored with everything that was happening. I had these Edward Gorey-esque guys in big fur coats, like wandering around and being mysterious and doing very little else. And I was dreadfully bored with myself, and I needed something exciting to happen. And the NaNoWriMo rule of thumb is usually, when in doubt, just add ninjas. And I didn't want ninjas with my guys in fur coats, so I decided what could be ninja-esque that would make this exciting. So I sent all these characters to the circus. And the circus that appeared in my head at that moment was way more interesting than anything I had written so far, and it kind of came like fully formed in my head. It had all these black and white striped tents and a bonfire in the middle, and I didn't know why yet. But I kind of eventually abandoned that outside project and spent a long time writing just about the circus, and that book eventually became The Night Circus. When I went to write a second book, I didn't really want to write a sequel to The Night Circus. I felt like The Night Circus ends kind of nicely, and I could explore the world further, maybe someday, but it wasn't what I wanted to do next. And I wanted to do something that still felt fantastical and still felt like that sort of book that I love that plays with the edges of genre. And I settled on really wanting to write a book about books. And as I started working on a book about books, I realized that I was actually telling a book about stories, because it turned into a book that was not only about books themselves and an underground labyrinth full of books, but also a book about fate and time in video games, and that's The Starless Sea. One of the inspirations behind The Starless Sea was libraries and bookstores and book-filled spaces, and the story itself actually begins when someone finds a mysterious book on a shelf in a university library, and that's one story kind of leads to everything else, like the way like a single book can take you on an adventure. Too long. The Night Circus and the Starless Sea both actually took, like, total from when they started, about 5 years to write from start to finish. And it's because I tend to be a rewriter. That's where I find my story, in the rewriting and the learning everything and kind of really familiarizing myself with the story as I go along. But there are pieces of the Starless Sea that are much older than that. There are pieces that I just jotted down without knowing what they were, like maybe 15 years ago. Thank you for visiting the Night Circus, and I hope you enjoy sailing the Starless Sea.